of alcohol and candy. One of the guests came as a penis, another as a Ku Klux Klansman. Initially, I was sorry that Yvonne declined my invitation, but not anymore. When the party was over, I decided that my career at the costume company had peaked, and I was going to quit. Accordingly, I slept in the next day and was awakened by my mother saying that Mrs. Badina was on the phone. Mom never got Mrs. Pizzino's name straight. I explained to my boss that now that Halloween was over, I thought I'd quit. Her response was, "Get in here." There is just as much to do at a costume company after the holiday as there is in the weeks leading up to it. I stuck it out through the Christmas season, and after all the Santa suits had been cleaned and put away and Yvonne was rolling up the beards again, I started looking around. I called a local dairy and asked whether there were any openings for milkmen. I had had a fantasy for years about owning a dairy farm. I liked cows. They led a placid yet productive life. I'd gone to Rutgers partly because it had a renowned department of dairy science. I'd taken one mini course in how to judge dairy cattle and learned the differences between Holsteins, Guernseys, Jerseys, and brown Swiss cows. "We've never had a lady drive a milk truck, but there's no reason not," a man said, and he agreed to let me come in and talk. The plant was all gleaming stainless steel, heated milk undercut with a bracing whiff of ammonia. It was the first time I could be completely honest in a job interview. I didn't have any experience, but I was sincerely interested in the dairy industry. On a frigid morning in February, I went along with a milkman on a route in Fairview Park, a suburb west of Cleveland. The milk truck had two sets of pedals, one with the standard 3 for a stick shift, for driving sitting down when you were going long distances, and the other for driving standing up when you were hopping between houses. This second set had just two pedals. The clutch and the brake were combined in one. When you needed to slow down or shift gears, your left foot squeezed down through the clutch to the brake on one pedal, and you had to lift your right foot off the accelerator and balance on one heel. The route was available, and they gave me the job. A generous friend lent me her car for a crash course in how to drive a stick shift. The foreman, who was training me, noticed that I handled the truck better standing up than sitting down. The seat was designed to fold up and swing around to the side, where it could be stowed out of the way. All that folding and swinging had loosened it up, so when I turned the steering wheel, the seat swung in the opposite direction, and I would find myself facing out the side instead of in the direction the truck was going, as if I were on some disorienting amusement park ride. At the foreman's suggestion, I was driving back to the plant standing up on Brook Park Road out near the airport. I went through an underpass, on the far side of which was a traffic light, and I was almost under it when I saw that it was red, so I had to slam on the brake and try to steer while gripping the steering wheel and balancing on one heel, and I lost control. The truck crashed into a concrete barrier. The foreman was thrown into the ice cream freezer, and I landed on the floor. He was okay. I was bruised and humiliated. The plant had its own tow truck and mechanic, and I rode back with the mechanic, wanting to bum one of his unfiltered camels. The foreman got blamed because the boss said he shouldn't have had me driving standing up, and I got another chance. I had some really nice customers. There was a couple who bought only a pint of half and half once a week for their coffee. And I had some deadbeats, the kind of people who knew that if they ever paid their bill in full, you'd drop them. There was a man who rehabilitated coin changers, those contraptions with barrels for quarters, nickels, pennies, and dimes. We wore them on our belts. The houses had